Welcome to We Are the Remedy, where each week we highlight a person from the community who embodies the idea of people helping people.
Hi everybody, my name is Mark Machado. I'm a realtor with Corcoran Global Living, and I'm a proud sponsor of Donuts for Breakfast and We Are the Remedy. I believe that Desire to Inspire Studios is a great and safe place for kids to learn. The opportunity to be able to come out and experience what it's like to be on a set, experience what it's like to work with other people, experience what it's like to have to create and build relationships with people that you're going to work with is so important. We need to respect our youth and we need to teach them, we need to help them grow. And I think this is a great opportunity for us and myself as a sponsor to help those kids grow. If you like this programming and like helping our youth, please consider sponsoring the show. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Are the Remedy, a Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation. My name is Trevor Henley, and I'm the inspirational activist for Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation. We have with us the Honorable, I don't know about Honorable, but wow, we've got the Honorable Dr. Michael Pritchard in the house.
Hi, everybody.
And today we have with us Michael Wayne Jackson.
The Michael Wayne Jackson.
Otherwise known as Action Jackson, am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So thank you very much for joining us today. Remember, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. And I don't know, I got some other words too, but basically We Are the Remedy is all about going in depth, sharing a story, presenting a problem or an issue kind of going on in our community, and then talking about your story and then what we're doing to help solve that.
Yeah.
And so
Solutioneers.
And that way we are all the remedy. So
Right.
Michael Pritchard, that's going to be fun. I'm going to just say Michael and see who responds. Why don't you tell us?
My life.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your connection with Michael here?
I love this guy. He's an amazing spirit, and he works at Coldwell Banker, but he's doing a lot of stuff now with senior housing. And we need, as a community, not just here in our county in Marin, but all across the Bay Area region and all across San Francisco region and all the way up to start thinking in depth about helping seniors find housing. And before they are sometimes lost in a system that can't, and that's no reflection on hospitals or places or convalescent homes. What we're saying is we know because of COVID-19, what has just recently happened, there's been a huge loss of lots of folks in the population of systems. But we also have to find ways, as the economy's trying to get sputtering back to its strength, we've got to find ways to help these seniors who want to sell off their homes or help their families. And this ties into what we call generational wealth, and helping their families get started and buy places for themselves as they sell their own. Because I'm like in this same boat with my kids, and just find ways to help them in their lives with housing, and at the same time find a place for me to be locally in the region anyway, close to where I loved and lived for 50 years. So Mike, can you tell us what you're seeing in the market and with seniors, and what are ways that we as community members can pitch in and help them and help the folks that are helping them find opportunities to get into their homes?
Yeah. So there's a couple of resources I'm aware of where Whistle Stop,
Right.
and now it's called something else, Vivillon, there we go.
Yeah.
There's a program where people rent out their space.
Right.
It's an in-law or in the house or outside of the house.
Wow.
And I believe that's designated specifically for anyone in Marin.
Yeah.
And usually they are older people renting out these places.
Yeah.
Not too many people know about that.
And it's called Vivillon?
Vivillon,
Yeah.
right downtown.
Got it.
Heatherton, 3rd and Heatherton.
Yeah, I've actually performed at Whistle Stop. I did a big comedy show there a couple times. I love them.
I didn't
There's
know that was through Vivillon. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that it was called Covia,
Right.
and I think it changed another name. So who knows what it is? But I know it's there.
Right.
It's there. And then another resource is the Marin County lottery system. And
Tell us about that. You were
So-
with that earlier.
yeah. So for a small fee of $25 a year, anyone can enter the system. Doesn't matter what age you are, right? You do need to be a first-time home buyer. You don't have to have a mortgage approval. You just need to get your application in and fill out it's really simple: name, address, phone number, where you work, and that's about it. And then there's a buyer course of 4 hours that you attend. Then you're in the system. If you get picked, you go to the open house. If you go to the open house, you have a shot at getting the place.
Getting the place. Wow.
They say, "Hey, do you like this place?" "Yes." "Okay, great. We'll keep you on the list." And then I don't know what they do in the back room. They do a secret handshake, blah blah blah. And then okay, Michael Pritchard, you won, right?
Yeah.
You're like, "Do you want this house or not?" "Yes." And you're like, "Okay, great." So I'll go ahead and get on my mortgage, and then
Right.
you get your house for like the third of the cost that it would,
Wow.
and be a homeowner.
Right.
So the example, and it might not be an elderly example, but this guy of five, him and his wife and 3 kids were able to buy a house in Loch Lomond, or Peacock Gap, excuse me, for $246,
Wow.
and that's $1 million neighborhood, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And that's
yes.
probably less than what you would pay in rent.
And,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
So there's
Imagine. I've
those
heard a
two
house going for
resources.
$8,500 a month this morning. It's
Right.
like what?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nuts.
For rent?
For rent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's ironic that in a time of COVID, many things are like in the city, the rents have gone down, and my daughter was able to rent a place that she never could have had in the city, and it's great for she and her family. What I think is astounding is that we in Marin have a lot of times we have what I kind of jokingly as a comedian say is inflamed entitleitis. You like that term? And we just assume things not in evidence. We need to, folks, we need to have seniors around us and respect them for their sacrifices and efforts and helping be the people that helped shoulder the burden of work and labor. Many of them are employees, cops, firemen, and they're left with the sense that they can't help their own children live in the neighborhood they grew up in. And so all we are asking is to make sure guys like Michael have opportunities in his business at Coldwell Banker to find access to places that, and like even the what you just said. I met a woman the other day. I don't know if you saw this. Boxable. You know what Boxable is? This is cool. Look it up. Elon Musk lives in a Boxable. It's a 650 square foot house that the Boxable folks build. There's another guy that they came by my house, and it's additional dwelling unit, ADU, and you're putting this up. But here's the thing. I have to say to all of you that we need our seniors. We need to show respect for them and what they've accomplished in their lives. Plus the wisdom inherent to our children and grandchildren who are around in the neighborhood. You meet some folks who have remarkable stories. You know this, Michael, and you were talking about that earlier. And we need to do what we can with Boxable. It arrives, Musk got it. He had a Tesla pull it up. It unfolds in a day, and it's a home. It's a 650 square foot home.
Solar power.
$50,000, yeah. $50,000. Now, I know there's a lot of snobbery that goes on in our community.
Wait,
I get it.
So you can just order one of those right now?
Yep. Yep.
Why did I buy my Tesla car? Could have bought a Boxable. Okay.
So he sells these. It's not Musk, it's another company, but he's endorsing them.
Right.
He's saying, hey, think here. Because our millennials and our Gen Xers are saying to themselves, it's perfect for a guy like you. You get $50,000 together. we find a location for a bunch of us who are working and doing our stuff here.
Right.
And you build a bigger house to have the kitchen in. But come on,
So that's the
50,000.
new age timeout. So if
There
you
you go.
keep acting up, I'm gonna get you a Boxable. And you're gonna stay there for a couple months.
I'll do it. I'll do it. You buy that, Michael. You buy that right now, and I'll butter my hips and slide in the front door. Not a problem. It's got a kitchen. It's got everything. I don't care. You know, at this.
So how does that actually help?
Oh, there's the good
Right?
question.
I mean, you're talking about putting ADUs in these homes, right? So,
Yes.
and we're talking about senior housing, so I can make assumptions, but you know, we all know where assuming gets me. So, how does that help? How does having a Boxable help either the homeowner put one in their property with the ADU?
Go ahead.
I've heard the average cost for an ADU is about $200,000.
Yeah,
So
right.
if it's $50,000 and local, like Novato, I know that there could be a couple of rules and regulations as far as permits.
Right.
How much is that going to cost and coincide with the Boxable? We don't. I don't
Right.
We don't know that yet because it's Marin.
And we have,
And
well, but the California law, I believe, again, I'm not speaking to it 100%, but
stop laughing. The people are Colorado, Mike.
but it's like in every county. What I understand is that they have to allow putting in an ADU.
Exactly my point, and exactly the point of the federal government at this point saying to ourselves, what have we done to our seniors? We mashed them into situations, and who knows how long COVID goes.
Right.
If we are, folks, do not send me letters about how much better senior housing in facilities where there's opportunities to build, memory care and all that. I get it. I'm a social worker,
lots of great
50 years. There's a lot of wonderful places here in Marin too. And I perform at them, and I see wealth and abundance up in Philip Marin. I performed I performed at lots of the memory care with Bread and Roses. You don't need to tell me this. I get that. What I'm saying is it helps us because it shows them that if they are in good shape, physically able to be by themselves, but included in a local community family where the kids can go out and see grandma.
Right.
It is extensively greater for their mental well-being, their health, and their life to be connected to people that love and care about them, regardless of what that is. And that is the benefit of it.
Let's throw another curveball in there.
Sure.
So what if you're a senior and homeless? Because we got the homeless population
Yes.
problem. Right?
Yeah.
And we seem to be like, oh, well, they're homeless. They're going to deal with it on their own.
Right.
And how do we deal with that besides putting someone in jail or into a homeless shelter and not graduating them to get back into the real world? That's another problem, I think.
Well, that is exactly my point, Michael, because I believe that having been connected to Salvation Army for many years, I was on the streets in 1980 with a woman by the name of Vaughn and a guy, Pete Stark, was a congressman, and John Garcia was his chief of staff, and they worked first at Salvation Army. I was on the streets with them filming stuff, and I was saying small houses with community unity, connection to services especially for veterans. I am on the streets. I give you a perfect example, and I'll just tell you this. I was down. Fellow jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he was worth $800 million. He lost his life.
Wow.
I went immediately from there, dealing with somebody who had to deal with that and helping them, to a homeless encampment underneath a bridge, feeding the guy a very nice man, an egg burrito. And I told him why I was late getting there before Mass at St. Vincent's. And he looked at me, and there were many expletives, and he goes, "You mean to tell me that somebody worth that much money jumped off the bridge and I'm holding on with the very essence of the fiber of my being and I have nothing but an egg burrito?" And I go, "Well, Dom, yeah, that's what I'm telling you." And a woman is in the Olive sits up and goes, "When you two are done with your bromance, will you shut up? I'm trying to get some sleep." And I go, I couldn't write my life on my best day, but I can tell you this. That guy is a veteran, and he needs to be better taken care of by our country. And if we can get boxables, and this is what Musk is suggesting, it's an option, for crying out loud, boxables,
All right.
right? And here's the interesting part. You're gonna like this, we can build them in institutions for corrections. Those guys need something to do, right? They need something to do. And if we can teach them to build boxables, you take them out, you build, because we have railways.
Well, it might be the home they build for when they get out of prison too.
Amen, amen, amen.
Because that's
There
a
you
big issue that when they come out, they're like, depending on how long they've been in there, right?
I
What
knew
resources do we have, right?
there was a reason I loved you so much, because that extends the stuff we're talking about.
Right.
Like, how should it be so implausible in a wealthy community filled with privilege? And, you know, one day I was sitting there, Michael, I want to give you a chance to talk, but I got to tell you, it just makes me
believe that,
laugh.
Michael.
No, it just because I love him so much.
know,
He's just a smart guy. I'm standing there and a woman is gone, you know, I think I told this maybe before, and I think she goes, "You need to be doing your work at Los Amigos down there when they're in Mexico, building things down there, and sign up for Project Amigo and do your work." Now, watch that handbag. That's a $10,000 handbag. I'll be back in a minute. I have to go. And you're like, that just happened. It was Marin. What I'm saying is, how do we, because you're a smart man. You know how to talk to people. You do know how to talk. I know you know how to talk to people because you have to talk to realtors. And they're good people, right?
And homeowners,
And homeowners. And they don't want,
people looking for homes.
and they are,
There are nice realtors out there too.
yeah, yeah.
did that seem like sarcasm? I have many friends in the realty business that are going to go, what? Anyway, but what do you see? What do you think? What do you think about this? What are ways that we can, with that kind of stuff, with the ADUs, additional domicile units?
You know, there should be a streamline to where it's not so difficult to get it done and reduce the cost. I know that there's products out there. I've talked to a few lenders that have ways of reducing costs. Boxable sounds like one, and you know, the permit process, which I haven't done, but I've heard it can be difficult sometimes and costly.
What do you mean by difficult, Michael?
You know, well, you need, you know, setbacks and
Got it.
and you know, the hill is on this slope, so you might need to do a retaining wall, and you know, and you forgot about, you know, so there's all these things that might add up
Right.
that wasn't in the initial bid.
Right.
So I got two questions for you, Michael. That's fun. All right. If you had a boxable, would you put one in your house?
Yes.
And would you house a senior
Yes.
or a veteran
Yes.
or who?
Would it have? Does it need foundation, or does it already have foundation?
I think I
Well,
think
once you put Mike in it. Sorry.
It ain't going nowhere.
I love you, bro.
fat
just
shamer,
going
fat
back to your-
shamer, fat shamer.
No, no, it was going
Okay,
back
all
to your
right.
buttering yourself up and sliding through the front door. I couldn't help
All
it.
right, it's okay.
right.
I forgive you. I've known him since he was a kid.
Boxable. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How
So-
long has that
So
been?
you would put one in your house?
I would, yes,
All right.
I would, and I would. Here's why. Don't you, when you have extra, don't you want to share Marin?
Right?
Don't you
Why
want to
people
share
want to move
Marin?
here.
If you want Novato to laugh, tell them about the boxable, and you're gonna put one in your house, and they're just gonna like, what the hell is a boxable?
Well, yeah, but you know,
That's how you learn. That's the whole point of this idea is to generate like the like-minded community, right? So someone else out there is like, hey, I can't afford $250,000 for an accessory dwelling unit,
Right.
But I would love to house my grandfather who's a senior
See.
or a veteran senior, right? And
or just
now
as
I
a
know
guest,
it's
have him for the weekend,
Right.
to have Grandpa
Right.
come out of the convalescent hospital, spend a weekend with the grandkids,
Right.
just sitting in the front driveway. Yeah. So
It's education to the city of Novato,
and
possibly, right?
to your greater point, you know, what's a boxable? Well, they asked that in the 50s, when this kid came here to play baseball from New York, and they'd never heard of him, and his name was Willie Mays. You know, and that guy still, even now, man, that guy's still, Willie, I love you, man, you're the best, still. So I just tell you that I think that the greatest gift that we have is that teaching community unity, what we're all about, and solutions.
Right.
But the problem is, what's between us and them is arterial blockage or fear. How do we conquer that? Because you're in business, you're Rotarian, and you understand this. How do we talk? Who do we talk to get them to understand why this helps, not hurts? Why this lifts and not diminishes? Because the old line is there's two forces in the world. The force that pushes people down or the force that lifts people up. Cesar Chavez. Now I am thinking the whole time, we gotta start lifting. Because what they need is, more than anything else, they need us, defenders. We're working class guys, as you say. Come on, what can this hurt?
Are you in Nevada?
No.
Centerville?
Centerville, yeah.
Okay, so if you get your Boxable,
Right.
you can be your own testimony to how easy or hard it is.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I just
Someone
got
wanna
to earn
give us
50,000.
So what that was an ask for $50,000 to get a Boxable. So we'll put one in Michael Pritchard's
Yeah.
house, right? So going back to his question
Yeah.
to you,
Yeah.
what do we have to? Who do we talk to? Who has to know about this Boxable? And
Senior planners and architects and
Right.
engineers, and
Right.
they got to, okay, how do we implement this to streamline it? Right?
Well, I see these two guys right here that are genius young men that know technology. And I'm sitting thinking to myself, and all the interns we have here, this is a smart generation. We're interested in solutioneering these things. And one of the things is if we have politicians or community leaders or fear-driven folks who are, fearful of their diminished property values, okay, got it. Here's the problem with that. What makes us safer is connection to folks who are suffering and helping them. They should be taking some of these big, beautiful, inaffordable drug and alcohol units and helping build those kind of situations where you're responsible. So I remember when I was a kid, I'm sure you guys do, you go camping. My pops was an Army officer. He said, you take care of your own tent. And I want it properly taken care of. You know, I took care of that. I took care of that tent because I didn't want to make that, man. But if you have moral turpitude leadership, and you have what Chavez talked about, was lifting people up because they're out in the fields working really hard. And I remember having worked for a group when the propane ran out in California. You can look this thing up. And because there was a frost, there was no crops. So they wanted people to just go away. And they turned the propane off. Don't send me letters. They turned the propane off because it was cutting into their loss. Right. And you're like, when did people become less valuable? You're only important when you can pick my crops, right, not when you can need propane. They go to church on Sunday.
I feel like that's probably a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but
and
it
I can
ties
tell
in.
you, and I know, and I can tell you're very passionate
Right.
about this senior housing. But we do have a guest. So, Mike, why senior housing? Why is that so important to you?
Well, seniors in general, I've seen firsthand get abused, or used, I should say.
Both.
Based off of someone dying. And so, for instance, I had a couple that bought a house in Nevada, San Marin. I knew the husband. I didn't know the wife too well, but I did know of her. She's had a little bit of dementia going on. So anyway, so what had happened was when he died, the son with his new fiance started calling the shots. and I had to witness it and didn't know what to do. So pretty much the fiance was saying, she's gonna move in this room, you're gonna stop contacting her, we're gonna do all this other stuff, and I was like, that left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, wait a minute, this is her whole life, and you're dictating all of a sudden after like a month in, or not even a month in, maybe a couple weeks in.
Right.
And I was like, wow. So even though
What did it teach
I was
you?
gonna say, yeah, I think
Yeah.
I feel.
it taught me to seek outside help for that. So now that I know,
Adult
upfront,
Protective Services.
yeah, and I can call in anonymously. Now I've surrounded myself with Marin Senior.
Access.
Okay. Anyway, we meet once a month. It's a senior
Yeah.
meeting, and there's nothing but lawyers and senior housing and memory care, and so there's a couple of lawyers I know who to go to as far as if there's a dispute with the family.
And they need guardianship or they need protection from dementia or Lewy body dementia, Alzheimer's, ALS. Yeah, got it. And so why do you think, so you're a smart guy, because we have an aging population right now, Michael, right? And we have a population of young people that don't want their parents, their families disrespected in such a way, or manipulated, lied to, or have their hearts used as toilet paper.
So
How do we help?
So I would help by looking out for a fiduciary that you can interview that would be in their best interest, have a trust set up, of course, and then maybe educate the family on, hey, you might need to take X amount of dollars of this trust and get an additional housing for this person, or take them to this, Atria Tamalpais in Nevada, or wherever it is
Right.
that might fit that senior. So, or they might just need to stay where they're at.
Right.
That might be the solution. So whatever tailors to that person's personality, and then just the education on the family. I mean, everyone else might be doing their life
Right.
and not focused on them, and there might be one sibling that's focused on them, but not thinking outside the box of, hey, what's going to happen next? We've all heard the story about Prince, who had the trust but didn't have trust. That's silly. That's probably the silliest thing I've ever heard. And he had enough money, didn't have the time. He had enough money, so
Yeah.
I just think.
Tell folks that story. Tell them what you know of that story, because they need to hear this.
So Prince, we all know who Prince is, multi, millionaire, and Purple Rain, all that good stuff, and
Minneapolis, Minnesota guy.
died without a will and trust, I believe.
Right.
And so his family has to scramble around, and while the lawyers are getting paid, because there's nothing set up in place to instruct what to do with the rest of the assets, and that's unfortunate. So, and we know what money does to people. Not in good standing or health, right? It turns people into whatever you want to call them, whatever it is, and I'm sure additional family members that he wasn't aware of probably popped up too.
Right.
So that gets even squirrelier, and I can attest myself. I say I'm not going to put my family in that position, so I've done my own trust, but I think it's silly not to do it, to spend a couple grand. Or more, depending on how many houses you own and how big your portfolio is, to take care of your family. Because at the end, I mean, lawyers are going to get paid regardless, but why have them eat up into all your profits?
I actually told this story about being in a courtroom getting ready to testify, and 6 people walked in, and they had been arguing over 3 pieces of property in San Mateo. And they were arguing to the point where all of them had an attorney. And one of the attorneys said, Your Honor, can we please get some kind of Solomonic wisdom here to help us divide this? Because otherwise the faucet's still running, and everything this man worked for it's been depleted by $2,300,000 in lawyer fees. And the fellow said, May I say something, Your Honor? And I was, okay, this is wrong on every level. I was in the back of court, and I went, golf buddies. I got in trouble for that. The bailiff goes, yep. But he extended the continuation. No blame. I mean, the judge is going to do what the judge is going to do, but folks, we've got a system where we've got to stop folks from manipulation of a person's life work. And it just shows respect. It just really, it just shows respect. And like, I love having business guys like you two, because you're good men with high ethics and high moral turpitude and values, and you do get it, and you do want to help people. And that's, man, if you want to know the idea of why to be a success in business, it's for that very reason. You will live a karmically, dharmically blessed life. Trust me, I've helped many people, and I've been helped by so many. And that's the key. That's the key to community unity. And guys like Michael and Trevor, who I've watched him and you both through both Rotary and other, just extend yourself out in the community and help community businesses in marketing and helping them, because we need your wisdom and insights, your emotional intelligence as well as everything else. And that's why at Rotary we love you guys, because this is what you do. And like when we're feeding the hungry with the meals for Corolla, I'm like sitting there, it's simple. Help senior citizens have enough food to eat so they're not starved, and you show respect. And that, I believe, I don't know if it's just me, but blesses a community, and people want to live there, and I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like what you're doing is really important. And I think that the more you go out and teach this to people, which is start right at Dominican University, get up and talk to the kids there and film it. He can do it.
Talk to the city of Novato, right?
Yeah. Right.
Start there. I mean,
Yeah, I've been there at Novato.
It's just an education process, right? I mean, tell me a little bit more about the senior housing and why that's important. And you've seen them taken advantage, and you've seen them used. And so, tell me a little bit more about why and how you can help and how you help.
How I help, yeah. So I did get my seniors real estate specialist designation through the California Association of Realtors. So that's our focus. So if you search for a local realtor in that specific, you'll see that certification. But that's not the gist of why I do it. Right. And it's on a deeper level, and to educate families on why. I mean, it starts at home, right? I mean, everyone's situation is different. And I know that, I know through my experience as far as helping seniors that only that person can decide, what they want to do, right? I can only give them the options. So some people can do a reverse mortgage and stay there for the rest of their life and not have to pay a single penny. Some people can do the regular, depending on how much money they have.
Right.
I mean, you can do a lot in Marin with the money.
Yeah.
If you don't have the money, then what are you going to do, right?
Right.
So that's where
the problem
you go
right
to
now.
marinhousing.org and check out Section 8. You check out the other resources and start there. And then you start with your peer group. And then you start with the realtors. Who do you know that's focused? And that's probably when I get a call, say, oh, this guy helps seniors out. Okay, well, great. What?
Yeah.
So I think it starts at home.
And what does it do for you when you're able to help a senior in one of those tough situations?
Oh, it's a win-win situation. I mean, it's like, to shave somebody years of headache and get the family on the same page that, hey, big picture is, don't you want your parents to stay alive and live their legacy and do what they want to do instead of you calling the shots?
Thank you.
Because that's the person that's built your house, right? And built the foundation. And I think to also, right, when you're doing your trust, it's like, who do you trust with your life and your bills, and who's going to make the decisions whether to pull the plug or not, right? That's important. So I got to keep my own,
All of us.
options open for that, right?
bet,
Who do you
man.
got to trust behind that?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right.
Because someone can say, hey, yeah, I love you, but then suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
And your bank account. And
Yep.
I don't trust that.
Right.
So anyway, I've seen it.
You see a lot of wounded people at times, right? Yeah. Right.
We don't know what's going on inside the household. Everyone can put a smile on their face. We don't know what the hell's going on, So I think overall, I care. I think you can hear that in my voice.
Yes.
And I don't,
Your
there's no
countenance.
high pressure sales for me. Whether someone does business or not with me, I'm going to give them my stories. And that's what I can provide.
So I think we're pretty much out of time for today, but I wanted to ask one more question because we touched on it briefly. Rotary.
Rotary. Yeah. Rotary, which is still, I don't know the 100% about what it does, but I know that Rotary's eliminated 98% of polio.
Yes.
And I've helped plant some trees at College of Marin.
Right.
I've done some things I didn't even know I was doing. But anyway, anything to do with real estate and housing.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I'm now the sergeant at arms, so I'm checking people in.
Right.
A lot of giving goes on with Rotary. Right. There's no business deals it's all about giving, and that's important.
Building community.
And what does it mean to you to be of service and be of help?
Right.
To be of service and not expect anything in return.
Right.
Is probably the most unconditional love you can expect and feel. I mean, it's fulfilling. I mean, it's when you're helping someone else and steer the trajectory of their life into the right direction. I mean, there's no words for that, you know.
Excellent.
All right, I got one last question just because it's sitting in the back of my brain. How can we help you out right now? Like, what do you need? What's going on in your life? Like,
Well,
whether it's business or not or personal,
Business
I just
or not.
feel like, I don't know, it's when these things cross my brain,
yeah.
I gotta say it.
Well, I try to deepen relationships. I'm trying to focus on people that uplift my spirits and give that back. So
Right.
anyone that, it doesn't have to be a transaction. It's like anyone that is going to, I can learn from. I didn't know about Boxables. I didn't know about, when I get off the phone with certain people, I'm like, wow, I'm ready to go take on the world.
Right.
Right.
That person.
Exactly. Yeah, that
That's what
Someone's
I-
on fire that's living
Right.
in their flame,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right on. All right, well, any last words of wisdom for our senior housing advocates, or what am I trying to ask for here?
Just insights or anything you
Yeah.
can say to, what do you say to the seniors to lift them up, to get them to get connected to men like you and women like you who can help make it better?
Yeah. I think it starts with marinhousing.org. Call a person like myself or any other realtor. I mean, you can Google, senior real estate specialists on Google, and you'll find a limited amount of realtors that are focused on that. And I
Right.
think, we would direct them in the right direction for sure. Yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you very much for being
Yeah.
on today. We really appreciate your presence. Really appreciate all you're doing for our senior community. And, thank you for being people helping people.
Yeah. Michael Wayne Jackson.
Yep.
Folks,
Jackson Jackson.
look him up. If you find something out there that you could use even some advice on, this is the guy to get it from, because he's got strong moral turpitude, wisdom, insight, and he's such a good father and person. He'll help you. And I promise you that's true.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much today for joining us at We Are the Remedy. Remember, go out there, share a smile with someone, give someone a compliment. If you see a senior, tell them something nice. Acknowledge their presence. Give them a little bit of your time. And thank you for being people helping people. Have a great day.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Machado. I'm a realtor with Corcoran Global Living, and I'm a proud sponsor of Donuts for Breakfast, and we are the remedy. I believe that Desire to Inspire Studios is a great and safe place for kids to learn. The opportunity to be able to come out and experience what it's like to be on a set, experience what it's like to work with other people, experience what it's like to have to create and build relationships with people that you're going to work with is so important. We need to respect our youth, and we need to teach them, we need to help them grow. And I think this is a great opportunity for us and myself as a sponsor to help those kids grow. If you like this programming and like helping our youth, please consider sponsoring the show. Thank you.